At 4:42 a.m. on April 2, 2025, a swarm of 15 ballistic missiles and more than 20 drones launched from Yemen raced toward the USS Harry S. Truman, a 100,000-ton, $13 billion symbol of American naval power. This wasn't just an attack. It was a direct challenge to U.S. military presence in one of the world's most strategic waterways. The aim was clear: blind the ship, break it, sink it. But what followed wasn't just a defense. It became a demonstration of precision, training, and modern warfare that would resonate through global command centers. This is the story of how an American aircraft carrier survived the largest drone and missile ambush in decades and responded with deadly silence and overwhelming force. Just a day earlier, on April 1st, the Red Sea had been calm. The Harry S. Truman was cruising steadily through international waters, its crew unaware they were minutes away from a full-scale assault. When the alarm finally sounded at 4:42 a.m., red icons flooded the radar screens, some missiles descending from high altitudes, others skimming the sea. It was chaos at first. A coordinated multi-vector strike had been launched from northern Yemen. 15 medium-range ballistic missiles were streaking in from the south, while over 20 drones approached from the west and northwest, jamming signals and creating radar noise. Red lighting bathed the bridge as battle stations were called. The crew had trained for this, but no drill could match the reality of seeing hostile warheads rushing from all directions. Lieutenant Commander Brian Hawkins later described it as a moment when time froze, just seconds before they went from routine patrol to the center of a modern-day blitz. These drones weren't designed to kill, they were made to blind. Jamming pods and decoys overwhelmed the ship's radar for 18 critical seconds, a dangerous window against Mach 5 threats. But the crew didn't panic. Truman's specialists worked fast to clear the noise, while nearby destroyers USS Gravely and USS Mason powered up their Aegis combat systems. Seawee's crews sprinted to their stations. The Truman was fully awake. One missile slipped through, skimming the waves and detonating near the starboard bow. The ship shook violently, but no damage was visible. No breach, no fire, no injuries. But the message was loud. This was not a warning. It was a declaration. For the first time in decades, an American nuclear-powered aircraft carrier was under a direct, multi-pronged attack. And the Navy was ready to respond. The Combat Information Center came alive with a smooth, practiced rhythm. The strike group scattered into defensive formation. Miles away, the destroyers fired SM-2 and SM-6 interceptors that lit the sky with twisting contrails, destroying 5 missiles mid-air. Low-flying drones, evading radar and creeping across sea clutter, triggered the second line of defense. The Truman's ESSM missiles launched from vertical cells, intercepting targets just miles out. Still, a few slipped through, and the final barrier, the Sea Whiz, roared to life with a metallic scream, shredding drones mid-air. One slipped close, only to erupt into a fireball just 400 yards off the deck. Smoke drifted over the ship, but the Truman stood its ground. Below decks, fire crews waited in full gear, ready but calm. Despite the scale of the attack, over 30 simultaneous threats, there were no American casualties, no aircraft lost, no systems breached. It was clear. The attackers hadn't just tested a ship. They had tested the entire U.S. Navy, and the Navy passed. As calm returned, a shift occurred. The attack had failed, but it signaled intent. In the combat center, strategy replaced reaction. An E-2D Hawkeye climbed into the sky, scanning for threats, feeding real-time data back to the group. EA-18G Growlers, already airborne, redirected to the southern corridor of the Red Sea. Their mission: electromagnetic dominance. The Growlers pulsed jamming waves across the same frequencies used by the attackers. One by one, enemy drones still circling lost signal and crashed into the sea. Now it wasn't just defense. It was counterattack, using invisible weapons. On board, digital strategists and intelligence analysts worked in unison with commanders, coordinating across air, sea, and cyber domains. Rear Admiral Marcus Vance connected with CENTCOM, confirming their readiness. They wanted to blind us. They failed. New intelligence revealed launch sites hidden in Yemen's mountains and along its coast. The next move was inevitable. By the afternoon of April 3rd, retaliatory strikes had begun. Yet while the world watched missiles fall and dust rise, a quieter battle raged offshore. The USS Gravely and USS Mason conducted electronic warfare, not with firepower, but with signal. Using the ASLQ-32 system, known as Slick 32, they jammed enemy communications and GPS, rendering drones useless. No explosions, just drones dropping from the sky like unplugged machines. For the first time in history, a U.S. destroyer neutralized a drone swarm without firing a missile. This wasn't just economical, it was revolutionary. The destroyers remained on station without resupply, their ammunition untouched, and their presence unwavering. Allied ships from Britain and France reinforced the perimeter, forming a multi-layered coalition shield that drones couldn't penetrate. It was multinational, multi-domain, and almost completely silent warfare. By April 4th, no new drone launches had been detected in over 36 hours. The once bold attackers had gone silent. Their infrastructure lay in ruins. Their drones were blind, their operators scattered. What had changed wasn't just the outcome, it was the battlefield itself. Yet victory raised hard questions. How had a militia launched such a sophisticated ambush against the most advanced carrier group in the world? How close had it? In response, the Pentagon accelerated next-gen defense systems, AI-enhanced jamming, hypersonic interceptors, lasers, microwave weapons. The battlefield is evolving, and so must its defenders. But one thing remains. No one attacks a U.S. carrier and walks away untouched. The Truman Strike Group's response was not only a military action, it was a global statement. It reminded adversaries from Moscow to Tehran and Beijing that the U.S. Navy is prepared, cohesive, and dominant. In just 48 hours, an entire enemy drone infrastructure was erased by coordination, precision, and unshakable resolve. Rear Admiral Vance summed it up in a classified briefing. They hit us to make a point. We answered to remind the world we still write the rules on water. And that message didn't just echo across the Red Sea. It reverberated across the globe. In the end, the USS Harry S. Truman was not just a ship that survived an ambush. It became the proof that, even in the era of drones and asymmetric threats, American strength still lies in its people, its preparation, and its unwavering principle. This wasn't just a naval battle. It was a reminder. Peace isn't maintained by waiting. It's preserved through constant readiness.